welcome back to Jeff Koinange live at the Villa Rosa Kempinski on this inspirational Thursday. Folks, if you haven't heard the story of Alex Chamwada, I tell you, you need to tell a friend who knows a friend to watch this show and watch it again. Because if you want to be inspired, this is the story, literally from rags to riches, from zero to hero. This man has been through it all, had no chance, literally no chance of becoming a journalist, but because of guts and more guts and willingness and resilience, he did it. He made it all the way from Vihiga County. What's the name of the village?
Elongo Village.
Whatever.
Elongo Village.
Elongo Village. All three people are watching from Elongo Village.
My mom is watching.
Your mom's watching?
Yes.
Fantastic. Is she in Elongo?
She's in Elongo.
Social media personality of the year, most influential media personality of the year, the SOMA Awards this year, and at the Media Council Award, the AJAYA Environmental Awards. This man, this year, seemed to be his year. What a story. Keep tweeting at Alex Chamwada, at Koinange Jeff, the hashtag Chamwada at JKL. My goodness. And I thought I had a rough ride in journalism.
You've brought it out very well in your book, Through My African Eyes. You know, journalists are human beings also. The chapter on how you covered wars in Central Africa, West Africa, the emotions you go through, you know.
And a lot of trauma, by the way.
A lot of trauma. I was traumatized when this is not war, but I was traumatized when I covered the Abidjan plane crash in 2000. Then Douala, I covered Douala.
Both of them, huh?
Bodies, you know. First of all, when you're at it, adrenaline is high, you're sending stories. But when you come back home, then the images start playing.
Correct.
I had to go for counseling.
You did,
So I've read your book also, which is quite telling people what you've gone through as a journalist. Yes,
absolutely. By the way, I don't know if you remember this. I remember seeing you in Abidjan in 2000. Do you remember?
You were there.
I was working for Reuters.
Yes.
And we flew in from Johannesburg. And I remember seeing you at the makeshift mortuary.
We've gone places together.
Correct.
We've covered stories together.
And then your PTC with the wing floating on the beach.
Yes.
Oh my God. Oh.
Looking at machete. You see the clips.
Yes. My goodness. So you've done Obama. You come back. You're still working for Citizen.
Yes.
Are you getting tired? Are you getting itchy feet yet or not yet?
At that time, I was really growing. I love stories that are out of the ordinary. Docket stories really kill me. And editors who have worked under know me. I just love working outside the box.
And doing different stuff.
And thinking outside the box, doing different stuff.
Yeah.
And but you see, in Kenya, in journalism, you are seen to be growing. If you are growing vertically, you become a senior. You are a reporter, then senior reporter, news editor, editorial director, up. But when I was at CNN, the short period I was at CNN, at VOA, what I learned is people are given the opportunity to grow where they are based. You know, you can grow horizontally. It doesn't have to be vertical. You can grow horizontally. You may have even more experience than an editor who is coming. Maybe that editor, that's his or her forte. So we can't all be good. I can't maybe be good in managing people, managing the desk, but I may be good in gathering. So let gatherers be gatherers if they want to grow horizontally, in terms of emolument, in terms of training. It doesn't always to be. I'm a believer in that, in the vertical growth. So when I left KTN back to Citizen, it was a good station. I left a good name there and decided I want to go independent. I've had enough. By the people would call and be saying, why don't you now do things differently? Why? You know, the nature of the stories, you find you are doing same stories. So someone who was in Standard 1 when I began journalism, you find we are now doing the same thing. We can exchange stories. It was time that I have to look at it differently, do from outside, take a back seat, look at it differently. That's how I formed Champs Media and resigned from Raw Media Services in 2014.
It was a big risk.
It was a big risk. Yeah. I wouldn't advise people. I mean, don't just think it's rosy. I want to be like Chamwada. It depends the stage at which you are in the industry. For me, I was confident enough to leave, have the networks, the contacts, and a name, of course, is an asset that you can walk into an outfit, a media outfit with a name and negotiate and get space. So I negotiated with KTN to be a content provider. People see me on KTN, they think I'm employed by KTN,
Yes.
but I'm a content supplier.
Correct,
Yes.
you are.
Yeah.
And the name Daring Abroad, where did that come from?
Now, I've left Citizen in 2014.
Yeah.
First, it was not easy because I hustled for about a year. Many stations were not willing to take my content. They asked, where's the commercial value? That's the first question. What are we gaining from it?
Yeah.
So I toured around with the idea for a while. Most of the stations I sold the idea to, but then I think good luck is now KTN had a new channel beginning, KTN News Channel. So that's dedicated to current affairs. KTN, I want to thank Joe Ageo and
Yes.
Joe Munene, the MD Broadcasting, for listening to my ideas. I presented to them and they said, it looks good. So back to the name, you've asked about the
Yes.
name. I had these ideas, so first of all, I began with the habit of sending stories from abroad when I was still a student at in Liverpool University.
That's right.
I studied masters in politics and mass media in Liverpool University, and had not been on payroll. I was not on payroll that time. I was at KTN, so I decided to do menial jobs. I was doing cleaning jobs. I bought a camera for myself, both video and
What were
still.
you cleaning?
It trains, picking rubbish in trains
You're
in
kidding.
the city of Liverpool.
Yes.
Yes.
At
Naweka
night?
gloves at
Yeah,
night.
after school?
After school, at night. Ingine I had 2 jobs in a bakery, but bakery I didn't stay. Nilikuwa nachoma na mikate nikatoroka. So I remained with one job.
Yes.
Ya pick rubbish. So I bought a camera and told KTN I can do stories and send back home. And Farida Karone was at KTN then, and the other editors, they liked the idea. So I would send stories as a freelancer and I would be paid to get money also to support my education in the UK. So it's an idea I had, back to Daring Abroad. So it's a continuation, a weekly feature called Living Abroad on KTN. So now Daring Abroad is like, I want to revive my idea, so I want to call it something else. So I called a friend who works at Parliament. He's called Kipkemoi Arab Kirui. He's a legal officer there. So he told me, I explained to him the idea. I said, call it Daring Abroad. And I said, that is it. That sounds interesting. So the name was not from me. And the name is not from a journalist. It's from a friend who
And
works
it's
at
stuck.
Parliament. It's stuck.
Coming back
And
to
look, yes.
coming back to London, and this is, a lot of people who watch us or who are watching you right now,
Yeah.
they think when you go abroad, life is easy.
Yes.
You just
You have
mentioned
gone, you have per diem and enjoying. It's not holiday. You're working
you're picking garbage on a train
Yes.
late at night.
late at night.
That's your job,
That's what was my job.
just
then.
to make ends meet.
Yes. Then on the evening, they would probably see me on air with a story. So they, oh my, Alex is blessed. Look, he's just
He's
on
enjoying.
in air.
And I enjoy
London.
sana.
Yeah,
Maisha ni mazuri.
but I've gone to pick rubbish to enable you to see that story on air.
You see,
Yeah.
it's not easy.
Yeah, it's not easy.
Nothing is a
Yes.
bed of roses.
Yeah.
Do you tell people that when you're talking to them?
It's my forte. Churches, schools, and that's part of what I'm putting in my book. So it's an inspirational. Yeah.
When is it going to be out?
Give it about a year.
Good.
I know you took long to
I
complete
took
yours.
7
It's
years.
Not,
I
yes,
took 7
it's
years.
not easy.
No, it's not easy.
Not easy. Yeah.
Do you have a title so far? Do you have a title?
No.
Chams.
Chams, this a selling title really? And you're not talking about the Chamwada report.
Chamwada report. That was very good, by the way. Huh?
So I have 2 shows on KTN. Daring Abroad, a weekly feature every Saturday. The Chamwada Report every Sunday, 8:30 on KTN News. Chamwada Report is purely about development issues. They tend to blend Daring Abroad and the Chamwada Report, but Chamwada Report is mostly local content, local issues.
Yeah.
Yes.
And Daring Abroad, how are you able to travel to Liberia, to America, to Europe, all these places you go? How are you able to do that?
Good question. Everyone asks me that. The power of networks, contacts. First of all, I'm a consultant. So apart from what you see on air, I have jobs here and there I do as a consultant. produce documentaries for organizations here and there. So I have an organization that is running. So some of those administrative costs are met through such jobs. Then I'm on pay a retainer at KTN. And the good thing with my shows, then there's room for partnerships. For example, now Daring Abroad is sponsored by EcoBank. So EcoBank caters for travel here and there, and it's what is paid for airtime to KTN.
Right.
So I'm able to travel. But before EcoBank came on board, I was able to travel. One of my key partners was Kenya Airways. Kenya Airways looked at the idea, and my selling point was I've traveled the world, I've seen the world, but many Kenyans have not seen it. You have people who travel, parliamentarians travel, you know, people go attend seminars abroad, people go for holiday, but they are not advantaged like me to share that knowledge to other Kenyans. So I'm advantaged through the power of the microphone, through the power of the camera, to share that knowledge. So I said I want to share this knowledge, what I see abroad, the Kenyans I meet abroad, to share, to bring the word literally to the living rooms of Kenyans. Yeah. So Kenya Airways, because they fly around, they said, this is a good idea. So occasionally they would sponsor the travel. And at the end of my shows, you've seen where I would say air travel courtesy Kenya Airways.
Yes. When you travel, how many people do you go?
Two. I and the cameraman. The cameraman is good. He does both camera work and video editing, but I have two other video editors in the Chams Media. So when it's not editing, they're editing back home. This cameraman is someone I've mentored from scratch. He was freelancing. He was a freelancer. I'd never traveled outside Kenya. He didn't have a passport. So I ensured him to apply for a passport. He got the passport. His first passport is almost full. Humphrey Odhiambo.
How old is he?
He's 29.
Wow.
Young man.
Wow. Is he good?
He's talented. The team in Champs Media, everyone tends to do almost everything. He's a cameraman. He's a good researcher. He can script. The only thing he's not started doing is voicing. He can edit. The others also in the station, the video editors can research for me. Then I have a graphics designer who is also freelancing. Most of them, permanent, those I've employed as a driver and an office assistant, but we have an arrangement where I give them room to do other things. If I'm not traveling with you, and then you have some 2 weeks, you can do something else, so that you are free. And we grow together that way. When I need you, you come. The graphics designer works from home. Another unemployed young man who works from home, he has his computer at home. He sends me graphics online. So it's a team of about 15 people.
Wow.
I feed about 15 mouths.
Plus, because they have family.
Well, the family,
exactly.
Yes, and extended family.
And how often do you travel in a month?
Wow, difficult. I would say
3 weeks?
occasionally in a month. Wow. It could be a whole month, or it could be only a week in a month. The thing on television is I could be away for a week, but I've gathered so much. I could be in Ghana for a week, but I've gathered about 10 stories. So I come back, people are seeing stories from Ghana, but I'm not there, I'm back here.
Right.
Maybe I'm on another shoot elsewhere. So it's how much you gather when you're outside.
Yeah.
Yes. I know you want to ask if I have time for family.
That's my next question, exactly. I mean,
Oh, am I becoming the interviewer? I hope not.
you're a good one too. A wife and 3 kids.
Yes.
Where do you find time?
I'll tell you, there are people who don't travel. They are always there, but they have less time for the family than I who travels. It's how you use your time and how you communicate. And if you have a week with them, how are you utilizing that week? Because you could be around, but you are not with your family.
Yeah.
You are even maybe on the computer forever, in the living room. So you are not with your family.
How old are your kids?
The firstborn is in class 8, doing her exams, Chelsea at Rudan Academy. She's 13. Secondborn, very passionate about soccer. He's traveled to Europe several times, Leon. And,
How old is he?
Leon is 11.
Does Leon think he's Lionel or Lionel?
He thinks so. That is he changed
Because
it.
mine thinks he's Lionel Messi as well.
Yeah, so I'm a journalist. Maybe he'll be a footballer.
And the last one?
And I respect his talent.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
the last one is in nursery, Casey.
Wow.
Yeah, so I have 2 girls and 1 boy.
Beautiful.
Yes. And my wife is quite supportive, Caroline. I mean, I managed to excel because I have a supportive family and the extended family also. My mom and my siblings support my work.
Who are all watching you.
They're all watching me.
The,
Yeah.
the quiet kid in high school has come of age.
Come of age.
Yeah?
Yes, and it happens.
Because in high school, nobody would ever thought you would have ended up here, right?
Nobody, I mean, I told you, in high school, I was quiet. I couldn't kill a fly. In primary school,
Yeah.
high school,
Yeah.
university, more university. I mean, quiet. I meet my former colleagues and they're like, what happened? Guy.
The word for the day is guy.
You know, it's presidential. You say, guy, it's quite presidential.
Absolutely. Okay, so Alex, what's in the future, man? I mean, you have done it all at 45, but no less. At 45, and you don't seem to be slowing down.
I thank God for the energy. One thing, we don't thank God for certain things you have. You have good health, you have good energy, you have 2 eyes, 2 legs, 2 hands, you can run around. Always thank God. And I want to thank God for that because it's not easy. Just every day, fast on the fast lane, you know.
Yeah.
You just come back from Lamu, as we speak.
Literally.
Literally.
And
Straight
you're off to somewhere else probably soon.
Yes, yeah. Thank God for that.
Where does the energy come from, Alex?
I think it's passion, it's inspiration, because if you don't like what you are doing, then you will not have the energy, you will not wake up early. So it begins from yourself. How passionate are you about what you do? Secondly, the people around you, family, supportive family, you'll keep going because you have a supportive family. The team around you, like Cham's media team, oh, amazing young men. Sometimes we work overnight because we have to deliver the shows.
Deadlines.
So we call it transnight, burning the midnight oil with those young men. So, you know, they just inspire you and keep going. And they're happy to grow with you. They're happy to get the exposure, like the way you're getting the exposure.
Sure.
Yes.
Alex, did you ever think you would be where you are today?
I never imagined I would be the best, the highest, rail.
Yes.
Was to be a continuity announcer in radio. When I was growing up, my father was a pastor. I liked when he would stand on the podium making announcements at the end of the service. So I wanted to be an announcer. I wanted to be behind a microphone. I never even imagined I would be on TV. Radio was my
forte?
My forte.
Yes.
Yes.
I mean,
Yeah. And of course, I come from a humble family. My peasant. Farmers, my dad, my mom, but my father became a church leader, then a pastor of Pentecostal Assemblies of God. So I was brought up in a religious background,
Yes.
and my mom was quite strict. My mom was a disciplinarian.
Like mine.
Kuna mchezo.
like mine.
Yeah, kuna mchezo.
Yes.
Yeah.
And a chopper. You know,
Yes,
if you get out of
yeah,
line,
yeah.
and a kuchapa.
Yes, so, and then I have a sister ahead, but I'm the first boy. Literally, the responsibility of the family is always on you. So it was a struggle going to high school,
Yes.
you know, kuuza ng'ombe hapa. Mzee aliuza ng'ombe zote, kamaliza. Ndio
Zote.
tusome ndio. Shamba kakatakata akiuza, watu wakichekelea, anamaliza shamba. Yeah, but thank God tuliweza kurudisha shamba yake.
When you go back to,
Yes,
what's the village?
Elongo.
Elongo.
Yes.
When you go back to Elongo, what do people say?
I mean, they say our son, and I want to thank, because there's a saying, is it a Nigerian saying, that a child is a product of the village?
Yes.
So,
It takes
I
a
mean,
village to raise a
yes,
child.
Yes, so, yeah, I mean, they say, yeah, our son, they really appreciate. I'm involved in community work. I'm a patron of a school there, and occasionally I go, when there are functions there, I support my former primary school, donating books, building, improving on the classrooms, mentoring.
Yes.
Yeah, I get time off to go back to my roots.
Wow.
Yes, I go to church, you know.
That's fantastic.
Yes.
But I'm sure a lot of people ask you, what drives you, Alex? I asked you earlier on, what keeps you going? But, you know, what drives you? I mean, you're still giving back to your village,
Yes.
to your school, to your family. What drives you?
It's giving back to God and thanking God, really, umenitoa mbali. And just being, always pray when you wake up, you know, God, give me the energy to continue. I'm not doing this for myself. what motivates me is not really the money. If it was money, I would be in another profession, because it's not really about the money. That
No.
people may think it's money, money. It's not money.
Absolutely.
So that's what drives me, the
Yeah.
passion,
Yeah.
and wanting to give back to the society, and thank God that really umenitoa mbali.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Na bado unaenda mbali. Bado unaenda.
I want to believe so.
We're going to take a break, Alex. Come
Thank
back,
you.
talk about the future.
The future.
The future, not just for you, but for journalism in
Yes.
Kenya. Where are we heading as a nation of journalists? Are we telling the right stories? Are we telling our own stories? Let's talk about that when we come back.
Thank you.
What a story. Inspiration Thursday like no other. Alex Chamwada has proved that you can overcome insurmountable odds and still be at the top of your game. No doubt, one of the best of the best of the best in our business. Keep tweeting at Alex Chamwada, at Koinange Jeff, the hashtag Chamwada at JKL. And JKL takes a break. We'll be back in a moment. Say that in a moment. Say that.
In a moment. They might say